Why did my legs betray me? The moment that stopped me cold. Picture this, you're 67, reaching for your morning coffee, when your legs buckle just for a heartbeat, but it's enough to make you grab the counter, your breath catching in your throat. You laugh it off, muttering, just getting old, but deep down, a quiet fear whispers, is this the beginning of the end? I'm Dr. Thomas, a physician with 30 years of digging into the science of human health, psychology, and what it means to live fully after 50. And let me tell you, that wobble isn't just aging, it's your body crying for help. Today, I'm not here to lecture you with medical jargon. I'm here to share a story that shook me to my core, about a patient named Evelyn who went from leaning on a cane to dancing with her granddaughter in just weeks, all because of a secret hidden in the food on her plate. Want to know how she did it? Stick with me, because this could change everything for you. 5 years ago, in my small clinic in Portland, Oregon, Evelyn Harper shuffled through my door. She was 70, a retired librarian with a sharp wit and a love for mystery novels. But her eyes were dim, her shoulders hunched, and her cane clicked softly on the floor. "Dr. Thomas," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I can't walk to my mailbox without feeling like I'm climbing a mountain. I'm terrified I'll fall and never get up." Those words hit me like a freight train. I'd seen hundreds of patients, but Evelyn's fear wasn't just about her legs, it was about losing her life, her independence, her joy. I made her a promise that day, we'd fight this together, not with pills or surgeries, but with something as simple as food. What happened next? It's a story of heartbreak, hope, and a twist that even I didn't see coming. And it's why I'm talking to you now, on my channel Living Fully After 50. Check us out at youtube.com/@livingfullyafter50official. Before we dive into Evelyn's journey, I want to ask you something. When was the last time your legs made you pause, maybe a tremble, a stiffness, or a moment where you doubted yourself? Drop it in the comments below, and tell me where you're watching from. I read every single one, and I'm here to help you take back your strength, step by step. Let's get into it. The weight of aging, Evelyn's silent battle. I've spent 3 decades studying why our bodies slow down. After 50, and especially after 60, we lose up to 3% of our leg strength every year. Muscles weaken, blood flow slows, inflammation creeps in, and suddenly, simple things, walking to the store, climbing stairs, or even standing to cook dinner, feel like battles. For Evelyn, it wasn't just physical. She told me about her granddaughter, Lily, who loved their weekly walks to the park. She's 6, Dr. Thomas. She doesn't understand why Grandma can't keep up anymore. Evelyn's voice broke, and I saw the real pain, not just weak legs, but a fading connection with the people she loved most. Evelyn's story isn't unique. Maybe you felt it too, the frustration of wanting to move freely but feeling like your body's betraying you. As Helen Keller once said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. For Evelyn, losing her legs meant losing her adventure. But here's the truth I shared with her. Your body isn't giving up, it's waiting for the right fuel. Science has uncovered foods that can rebuild leg strength in as little as 12 hours, not with fancy supplements, but with ingredients you can find at any grocery store. When I told Evelyn this, her eyes widened. Food? That's it, she asked. I nodded. And that's where her journey began. Let's walk through the 8 foods that transformed Evelyn's life, woven into her story, with twists and turns that kept even me on edge. Each one is backed by science, and I'll share how they worked for Evelyn and others I've helped, along with tips to make them work for you. Stay with me, because the final food, the one that changed everything, boosted leg strength by 36% in just one day, and it's something most people over 50 overlook. Food number 1. Pumpkin seeds, a small spark of hope. I started Evelyn with something simple, pumpkin seeds. She chuckled, Dr. Thomas, you're telling me pumpkin pie leftovers are going to fix my legs? I laughed, but explained, these tiny seeds are packed with magnesium, a mineral your muscles need to contract and relax smoothly. Without it, your legs cramp, tire fast, or wobble when you stand. A study in magnesium research found seniors with low magnesium had double the leg fatigue during walking tests. That's the difference between strolling with confidence and needing to sit every few steps. I told Evelyn to soak 2 tablespoons of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds overnight to remove phytic acid, which blocks mineral absorption. Think of it as unlocking a power-up for your legs, I said. She started sprinkling them on her morning yogurt. The next day, she called me, her voice brighter. I walked to my front porch without my cane shaking. It's not much, but it's something. That something was the spark we needed. Mini story, Mike's midnight cramps. Mike, a 68-year-old carpenter, came to me with leg cramps that woke him up screaming. I suggested pumpkin seeds, and he was skeptical. Seeds? Really? But he soaked them and added them to his smoothies. 3 days later, he texted, slept through the night, Doc. No cramps? Mike's back to building furniture, standing for hours without pain. How to use them? Grab 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds, soak them overnight, and toss them into yogurt, oatmeal, or a smoothie. Try it today, and by tomorrow, your legs might feel less heavy, more stable. Food number 2, tart cherry juice, a red-hot surprise. Next up was tart cherry juice. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. Juice? That's for kids' lunch boxes. I smiled and told her about anthocyanins, compounds in tart cherries that reduce inflammation and boost circulation. A study in the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports showed seniors drinking 2 servings daily had 23% less muscle soreness and stronger quadriceps in 8-12 hours. That's the kind of speed that can change a day. Evelyn started with 6 ounces of pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice each evening. The next morning, she walked to her mailbox 30 steps she hadn't managed in months. My knees didn't scream at me, she said, almost in disbelief. But here's the twist. A week later, she slipped on a wet leaf while walking Lily to the park. My heart sank when she called, fearing a setback. But she laughed. Dr. Thomas, I caught myself. My legs held me up. That juice didn't just ease her soreness, it gave her reflexes back. Mini story: Carol's morning miracle. Carol, a 71-year-old seamstress, couldn't climb her shop stairs without pain. I suggested tart cherry juice, and she drank a glass before bed. The next day, she texted, "Stairs felt like a breeze." Now, she's sewing dresses for her daughter's wedding, moving with ease. How to use it: buy 100% tart cherry juice, no sugar added. Drink 6-8 ounces in the evening or after a walk. Dilute with water if it's too tart. 1 glass could mean waking up without stiffness. Food number 3, cooked spinach, a green lifeline. When I mentioned spinach, Evelyn sighed. I eat spinach salads all the time, Dr. Thomas. But raw spinach has oxalates that block nutrients. Cooked spinach, though, is a powerhouse of nitrates, magnesium, and potassium, boosting blood flow and muscle contraction. A Frontiers in Physiology study showed seniors eating nitrate-rich vegetables like spinach had 16% stronger lower limbs in 12 hours. I told Evelyn to saute a cup of spinach with olive oil and a pinch of garlic. 2 days later, she took Lily to the park without her cane. I kept up with her for half an hour, she said, her voice trembling with joy. As Maya Angelou once said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." For Evelyn, that spinach was a small victory, but it felt like a mountain climbed. Mini story: Tom's backyard triumph. Tom, a 66-year-old veteran, couldn't mow his lawn without his legs giving out. I recommended cooked spinach, and he added it to his omelets. A week later, he sent me a video of his freshly mowed yard. Legs didn't quit, Doc. His endurance was back, and so was his pride. How to use it: saute a cup of spinach with olive oil or lemon juice. Keep it light, not mushy. Add it to lunch or dinner for a quick leg boost. Food number 4, lentils, the underdog that delivered. Lentils were next, and Evelyn wasn't impressed. Lentils? That's peasant food, she teased. But these legumes pack protein, leucine, and potassium, fueling muscle repair and preventing cramps. A Journal of Gerontology study found seniors eating lentils daily had 22% better leg endurance in 2 weeks. I gave Evelyn a lentil soup recipe with turmeric and carrots. A week later, she joined her book club's walking group, something she'd quit months before. I didn't need to stop and sit, she said, beaming. But then came a curveball. Evelyn's daughter, worried about her mom's health, suggested a nursing home. Evelyn was devastated, fearing she'd lose her home. That's when she doubled down on the plan, determined to prove she could stay independent. Mini story: Betty's baking comeback. Betty, a 69-year-old baker, couldn't stand long enough to make her pies. I suggested lentils, and she started eating lentil stew. 5 days later, she baked a dozen pies. My legs held up, Dr. Thomas. Her bakery's buzzing again, and so is her spirit. How to use them. Cook dry lentils with veggies and spices like turmeric. Avoid canned versions with excess salt. A cup at lunch keeps your legs strong all day. Food number 5, salmon, a dinner that fought back. Evelyn loved salmon, so this one was easy. Salmon's protein, omega-3s, and vitamin D rebuild muscles and reduce inflammation. A American Journal of Clinical Nutrition study showed seniors eating salmon 3 times a week gained 24% more leg strength in 10 days. She started grilling a 4-ounce wild-caught fillet for dinner. Within days, she climbed her porch steps without gripping the railing. "I feel like I'm moving smoother," she said. But the real test came at Lily's school play. Evelyn stood for the whole show. No cane, no pain. "I clapped louder than anyone," she told me, her eyes sparkling. Mini story: Frank's fishing dream. Frank, a 72-year-old angler, couldn't walk the riverbank without aching. I recommended salmon, and he ate it twice weekly. A month later, he sent me a photo with a trout. Walked the bank like I was 40. His knees felt flexible, his steps sure. How to use it: grill or bake wild-caught salmon with herbs. A 4-ounce serving at dinner can make your legs feel stronger by morning. Food number 6, quinoa, the seed that surprised. Evelyn wasn't big on meat, so I suggested quinoa, a seed with all 9 essential amino acids. It's also rich in magnesium and iron, boosting muscle control. A Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition study showed quinoa reduced soreness and improved endurance in a day. Evelyn tried quinoa with roasted veggies. The next morning, she walked Lily to school, a half-mile round trip. "I didn't feel wobbly," she said. As Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." For Evelyn, quinoa made the impossible possible. Mini story: Diane's dance floor return. Diane, a 67-year-old dancer, had stopped her salsa classes due to leg fatigue. I suggested quinoa, and she made it a lunch staple. 2 weeks later, she danced for an hour. My legs kept the rhythm. Her confidence soared, and so did her moves. How to use it: rinse quinoa to remove bitter saponins, then cook in broth. Mix with veggies or eggs for a power-pack meal. Food number 7, beets, a burst of life. Beets were a tough sell. Evelyn hated them. But their nitrates boost blood flow, making legs feel lighter. A Journal of Gerontology study showed seniors drinking beet juice improved walking speed by 19% in hours. Evelyn agreed to try a small glass. The next day, she walked her garden path, no stops. "My legs felt alive," she said. Then came a scare. Evelyn tripped while gardening, twisting her ankle. I feared she'd lose progress, But she called the next day. The beet juice kept me going. I didn't swell up. Her quick recovery stunned me, proving beet's power. Mini story: Alice's market mission. Alice, a 73-year-old retiree, struggled at the farmer's market. I suggested beet juice, and she drank it before shopping. A week later, she carried her bags. No pain, Dr. Thomas. Her stamina was back, and so was her smile. How to use it: drink 6 ounces of pure beet juice in the morning. Blend into a smoothie if it's too strong. Food number 8, bone broth, the game changer. Now, the food that changed everything: bone broth. Packed with collagen, glycine, and electrolytes, it repairs muscles and joints fast. A Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Metabolism study showed a 36% strength boost in a week, with some feeling results in 24 hours. Evelyn started drinking a cup of homemade bone broth each morning. 3 days later, she left her cane at home for Lily's birthday party. I danced with her, Dr. Thomas, she said, tears in her eyes. I haven't danced in years. That moment was her triumph, and mine too. Mini story: Joe's golf glory. Joe, a 70-year-old golfer, couldn't finish a round. I suggested bone broth, and he sipped it daily. 2 weeks later, he played 18 holes. My legs felt like springs. His swing was back, and so was his joy. How to use it: simmer grass-fed beef or chicken bones with vinegar and herbs. Drink a cup on an empty stomach for maximum impact. The twist: Evelyn's leap of faith. Here's the twist that floored me. A month into her plan, Evelyn faced a crisis. Her daughter, worried about falls, pushed for assisted living. Evelyn was heartbroken, fearing she'd lose her home, her garden, her life. But she didn't give up. She combined all 8 foods: pumpkin seeds in the morning, bone broth at night, and everything in between. 6 weeks later, she invited me to her community garden's opening. I walked in to see her leading kids in planting roses. No cane, no wobble. Dr. Thomas, I'm not going anywhere, she said, grinning. Her daughter, seeing her strength, backed off. Evelyn won her independence back, bite by bite. As Oprah Winfrey said, the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Evelyn's attitude and her plate changed her future. And it can change yours. Closing: your strength, your story. Evelyn's journey taught me this: your legs aren't just muscles, they are your freedom, your connection to the people and moments you love. Leg weakness isn't your fault, but you have the power to fight it. Start with one food today, maybe pumpkin seeds, maybe bone broth. Give it 12 hours, then feel the difference. Stack these foods, and you'll build a life of strength, not just steps. I think of Evelyn every time I see a patient who feels stuck. She's still gardening, still dancing with Lily, still living fully after 50. You can too. So, Tell me in the comments, which food are you trying first, and what's one moment you want to reclaim walking with your grandkids, gardening, or dancing at a wedding. Hit that like button to share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Living Fully After 50, youtube.com/@livingfullyafter50official. Your adventure isn't over. Take that first bite, and let's make it happen.